so with tight calves and feet, you're gonna want to, and when there's knots in there, you're gonna want to use SMR, so myofascial release and stretching, and then also some activation. So for the calves, you can roll both legs at the same time. If that's not intense enough, you can go here. If you need more, you can lift up and just roll a 3 to 5 inch span at a time. If you need something a little bit more direct on a spot, you can take a ball. Tennis ball is softer than a lacrosse ball. A lacrosse ball is going to be a little bit more dense and really dig in there. I like to use a block to kind of bring it up to the leg and then find a tight spot, and you can point and flex your toes to floss the muscle, and you can just kind of hold a pressure point at the tightest position in tight spots, kind of move it around a little bit, find those knots and hold some pressure. You want to go to about a 6, 7, maybe 8 out of 10 for intensity. Holding a little bit lighter, like more along a 6 out of 10, you'll get some like little twitchies, and then it should release. If you need to dig in deeper to really get in there, you can go to like an 8 out of 10, even a 9 out of 10, but with the calves, you kind of want to keep it more on the 6 to 8 range for intensity. And then for, so that's for release. For the feet, you can move the big toe around. You also want to go side to side. You want to do some circles. For the rest of the toes, I like to grab and bend like that. Keeping the heel supported kind of gives a little bit of a stable base there. Another thing is finding the feet bones and wiggle between each one with gentle pressure, just enough to get a good grip. Getting those little tarsals in there to move around. There's also a muscle, so second, third, fourth toe. From this fourth toe here over to the second, and from this third toe over to the second, there's a little bandy tendon muscle, well, a couple. You can pressure point that gently on the bottom of your foot here, pressure pointing there, and then also between the, and then also between the third and fourth toe, gentle pressure point there with very gentle pressure at the top. And then also you want to do it standing, hinge, soft knees, and you can pressure point between the big toe and the second toe. So like toe bendy knuckle spot, next to and right above that, you'll find a little tendon in there, and you can gently pressure point, and you can rotate your knee in and out. You can also do that in that same spot between the second and fourth toes in that range, and that'll help loosen up the foot. For the stretching portion, find a step, go straight knee, and bring the hips forward, and that's going to get a good stretch in the back and the calf there. That's going to get the gastroc, and then the gastroc goes over the soleus. So gastroc, and then underneath that would be the soleus. You're going to bend your knee slightly, and same thing, bring the hips forward. Get a good stretch in the calf there, and then for stretching the shin, go straight leg, point the toes, really reach them straight forward. You can do this standing or seated. Assisted, you can have somebody gently push down on your feet while your legs are straight. If you have a band or a box, you can step your leg through, place your foot up on an elevated surface, and get that band right in the ankle crease where your little foot bones go up into the ankle. Make sure that there's tension on the band, and this is going to help those bones kind of glide past each other. And then lean or shift forward into it. Make sure that you're keeping a strong arch here. You don't want the foot to collapse. Make sure that you're not clenching your toes. Keep a nice little bit of a toe splay here. And make sure that your knee is going over your second and third toes. Straight forward. If you feel any blockage or like you want to shift to either side, that's where you would stop and hold so that it can loosen up. And then you can go a little bit farther. Usually 3 to 5 deep breaths. I like to use breath cycles instead of counting. Another good calf stretch technique. Back leg stepped nice and far back. Walk the arms up the wall. Shift the chest forward. And shift your whole body towards the wall, keeping that back heel down. If you need less intense, you can come up here more. More intense would be back farther. Make sure that those toes aren't turning out or in. You want to go straight forward, knee over toes. So next we'll want to activate the shin, and you can use a kettlebell or a band for this. I'm going to use a kettlebell, and you will keep your knee nice and straight. Use your quad, use your core to sit up nice and straight. You're going to point the toes as far as you can, and then flex them back towards you. Make sure, again, you're keeping the toes pointed straight up and in line with the knee. We don't want to invert or evert the foot. Nice and slow reps here. 10 to 15. Start with 10, work your way up to 15. I want to activate the calves themselves, so find a step. You can use stairs if you're going to do that. You should probably do it on the bottom step, just in case risk of falling. Place the ball between your heels, toes together, hands on a wall or railing for support. Sink the heels down as far as you can. Get a good stretch in the back of the calves, and then come up onto the balls of your feet and back down. You can do this one with straight knees or bent knees. So straight like that, or you can have soft knees here, down and up. Just make sure you're not changing the knee angle as you go through the motion. Another thing to work on would be eversion of the foot. So taking a band, if you have one, here, holding it out to the side here, so diagonally up, and that's going to pull your foot into inversion. Press into the ball of your foot and rotate outward for eversion. So if the calf raises are too hard, another thing you can do is take a band here, pull back on it, and point, kind of like the opposite of if you anchor the band for the tibialis, for the shin raises, but we're pushing instead of pulling. So we're pointing the toes instead of flexing the toes. Come all the way back so you feel a stretch in the calf, though, same thing as if you were on the step. And again, keeping the knee and toes in line. And then you'll also want to activate your quads. A lot of the time, if the calves get sore, the quads need a little work. So you can start here. You can use a pillow for under your knee. It is going to work better if you have something harder to use. So this, a block, a ball. You can just bend your knee too and kind of support it with your hands. My preference is a block. So here, again, sitting up nice and straight, and then extend at the knee and bend. Make sure that when you're extending your knee, you're not rounding in the hips or losing your posture. So shoulders stacked over hips, core engaged, knee bend. This leg can be out to the side or it can be straight here. Extend at the knee, keeping your chest up. Making sure that the knee and toes stay in line.